Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai Emem. Come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government launches a fiscal platform to crack down on tax evasion. NIMC announces upgrade of NIN enrollment portal for Nigerians in diaspora. Plus, South Korean military shrinks by 20% due to low birth rate. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Led by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, to end the crisis in the Bauchi State chapter of the All Progressives Congress. The presidential panel is charged with the task of addressing and resolving the internal conflicts bedeviling the state chapter of the party, according to a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Speaker, Musa Krishi. Other members of the committee are Governor Maybuni of Yobe State, former House of Representatives Speaker Yakubu Do, Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Abdullahi Gumel, Senior Special Assistant to the President Political Ibrahim Masari, and Usman Gotomo. Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff to the Speaker, Professor Jake Dan Nazumi, is the Secretary to the committee. He urged them to brace up and meet the expectations by completing the assignments within 1 month as mandated ahead of the APC congresses. Away from that, the federal government has commenced the rollout of a national electronic fiscal system, EFS, to modernize Nigeria's tax administration, curb evasion, and enhance transparency in revenue collection. The Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, said the EFS, which incorporates an electronic invoicing solution known as the merchant buyer model, went live this August. After a successful pilot phase that began in November 2024, the first phase targets large companies with an annual turnover of 5 billion naira and above. The platform is designed to make tax compliance easier, faster, and more transparent for taxpayers, providing the FIRS with real-time visibility into commercial transactions while ensuring the authenticity, accuracy, and completeness of invoices. In a statement, the Special Advisor on Media to the FIRS, Chairman Dare Adekomi, said that in less than 2 weeks since the launch, at least 1,000 companies representing 20% of more than 5,000 eligible firms have adopted the system and begun integrating with the FIRS MBS platform. In the meantime, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has announced the suspension of a planned strike by aviation unions, which was scheduled to commence today. In a statement by the minister through his official X account, said the unions comprising the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, Civil Service Technical and Recreational Services Employees issued a joint statement suspending the strike. He further noted that his long-standing ties with labor leaders played a role in achieving the breakthrough. In another development, the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has announced that it has successfully upgraded the Diaspora National Identity Number Enrollment Portal. The agency disclosed this in a statement by its spokesperson, Kade Adegoke, today. According to NIMC, the upgrade would help provide a seamless, robust, more secure, efficient, and effective NIN service delivery to Nigerians in the diaspora. This comes as NIMC also reiterated that NIN enrollment is ongoing across all the centers in Nigeria. In a separate development, Chairman of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TED Fund) Governing Board, Aminu Masari, has confirmed that the agency has received 1.6 trillion naira for various interventions across tertiary institutions in the country. The former Katsina State Governor, who spoke with reporters in Katsina, described the fund as the highest vote for TED Fund in recent allocations. The funds accrued from the 3% education tax imposed on company profits as stipulated by the TED Fund Act. Masari stated that 40% of the amount, representing 460 billion naira, was earmarked for interventions across tertiary institutions nationwide. For state-level interventions, 3 institutions were selected in each state: 1 university, 1 polytechnic, and 1 college of education to benefit. The fund's chairman said 225 billion naira from the 1.6 trillion naira was released to the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, for the federal government's Student Loan Scheme. Back here in Akwa Ibom, the governor, Pastor Moino, has empowered 1,187 persons with 492.7 million naira farm, trade and business grants in Uyo Federal Constituency. The governor disbursed the grants at the Uyo Federal Constituency Town Square meeting held at the Ibom Hall grounds, Uyo. The governor, who was elected by the massive turnout, said 276 constituents were successfully selected to benefit from the Arise Farmers Grant, 628 for the Arise Traders Grant, 263 for the Arise Equipment Support Scheme, while 8 persons benefited from the 5 million naira MSME grant and 12 got cars and minibuses. Governor Eno appreciated the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led federal administration for making funds available to 22 states, which according to him has made it possible to execute the empowerment scheme. The entrepreneurship support and different developmental projects he directed the Ibom Leadership and Entrepreneurial Development Center Ibom-led to commence the process of training another 50 persons, each from all the recognized female and male support groups, for another set of empowerment. The governor also announced the federal government-funded Ward Development Empowerment Initiative for 1,000 persons per ward and urged the people to return to their respective wards to ensure that the entrepreneurs in their respective wards partake in the program. Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that on their parts, the Director General of Campaigns, Ambassador Assam, the local government chairman commissioners, House of Assembly members and paramount rulers from the federal constituency, as well as non-indigens, appreciated the governor for all his impactful strides in their domain and assured him of their continuous support. High point of the event was the unanimous adoption of the governor as the sole governorship candidate for Uyo federal constituency in the 2027 election, following a motion moved and seconded by Mark Eset and Ubong Atta. We move now to the continent of Africa, where thousands of Ivorians took to the streets in Abidjan, the capital of the West African nation, to protest against the exclusion of opposition leaders from the upcoming presidential election. Recall that earlier this year, 4 main opposition figures, including former President Laurent Gbagbo and former Credit Suisse chief executive Tijani Thiam, have been barred from running by the Electoral Commission. Last month, the 83-year-old President Ouattara announced that he would seek a 4th term. Ivory Coast, the biggest economy of Francophone West Africa, is due to hold a presidential vote in October. On the foreign scene, a release by the Defense Ministry has revealed that South Korea's military has shrunk to about 450,000 people, a decline of 20% over the last 6 years. Authorities say the reason behind the decline is the country's dismal birth rate, which stands, at 0.75 babies per woman, and is the world's lowest. South Korea retains compulsory military service mainly because the country is still technically at war with its nuclear-armed neighbor, North Korea. Reports say the number of divisions in South Korea's military has dropped from 59 to 42 since 2006, with units having either disbanded or merged with one another. Still on the foreign scene, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that Australia will recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in September, following similar moves by the UK, France and Canada. Albanese said Australia received commitments from the Palestinian Authority, PA, including to demilitarize, hold general elections, and continue to recognize Israel's rights to exist. He said a two-state solution is humanity's best hope to break the cycle of violence in the Middle East and to bring an end to the conflict, suffering and starvation in Gaza. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, 5 people have died as a result of starvation and malnutrition in Gaza, bringing the total number to 217 deaths. Still to come in the news. Spurs open talks to sign Man City winger Sevinho. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. And now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NIAT) has issued a policy-backed caution on what it describes as a silent fiscal emergency, quietly undermining the economic stability of Nigeria's state. The agency also raised an alarm, warning that rising debt servicing obligations are squeezing state capacity to provide essential services, invest in local infrastructure, and implement poverty reduction programs. NIAT's Director of Communication and Stakeholder Management, Obiageli Onora, disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja. The alert follows the release of NIAT's latest policy brief. Beyond federal allocations, the cost of borrowings and debt servicing at the state level in Nigeria in Abuja. Still in business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical says it has commenced the receipt of 4,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks needed for its field distribution logistics program set to start August 15. In a statement, the company said the initiative aimed to transform the fuel distribution landscape within Nigeria by reducing logistics costs and enhancing supply efficiency for customers. Speaking, the Group Chief of Branding and Communication Dangote Industries Limited, Anthony Chejina, said the commencement of the initiative marked a groundbreaking development in Nigeria's fuel distribution network. He added that over the next 6 weeks, the refinery expects at least 60 shiploads of these trucks to arrive in the country. On our health news, the federal government has met with the leadership of the health sector unions and associations as part of ongoing reconciliation efforts to sustain industrial harmony in the nation's healthcare system. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, said this in a statement issued by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Alaba Balogun. According to the statement, Pate, who led the government's delegation, said the administration of President Bola Tinubu holds health workers in high esteem and remains committed to improving their welfare. Pate expressed that the timely implementation of agreements recently reached with the unions is critical to maintaining healthcare services, which he noted had undergone significant reforms in the past 2 years. According to him, Nigerian hospitals are now attracting patients from other West African countries, as well as Europe and America, due to improvements in the system. Still in health, the federal government has forecast heavy rainfall over a 5-day period that may lead to flooding across 15 states in the north and 68 locations. This comes as the National Emergency Management Agency said a total of 140,228 people in 21 states have been affected by floods so far in 2025. The heavy rainfall warning issued by the National Flood Early Warning System Center of the federal government called on stakeholders and residents to take urgent precautionary measures. According to the center's flood projection, the affected areas are expected to experience rainfall likely to cause flooding from August 10 through the 14th. The center listed the areas to include Adamawa State, Bauchi State, Nasarawa, and Kaduna State, among others. Now to sports news, where Tottenham are in talks with Manchester City over a move to sign Brazil winger Silvinho. Discussions have been held between the two clubs in recent days over a possible deal for the 21-year-old. Reports say negotiations are at an early stage, and it remains to be seen whether City will sanction a move for the Brazil international. Silvinho was a regular under Pep Guardiola last season, scoring 3 times in 48 appearances across all competitions. Still in sports, Chuba Akpom has joined Sky Bet Championship club Ipswich Town on a season-long loan deal. Akpom linked up with the Tractor Boys from Eredivisie giants Ajax. The 29-year-old spent the second half of last season on loan with League One outfit Lille. The Nigerian-born striker registered 3 goals and 1 assist in 14 league appearances for Les Dogs. Akpom becomes Ipswich Town's 6th signing of the summer transfer window. On entertainment news, wife of Nigerian music star David Adeleke, also known as Davido, has opened up on how her husband has gone beyond being just a spouse to also supporting her ambitions. Chioma, in an interview, said her husband has been helping her navigate life's challenges, enabling her to pursue her desires outside family responsibilities. She further stated that they both have plans and projects in the works with hopes of unveiling them next year. Recall that Davido yesterday tied the knot with his wife, Chioma Adeleke, in a lavish white wedding ceremony in Miami, United States. That's all we have on the news at this hour. Do what's follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12 a.m. We are MM. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.